How's it going, guys? It's your boy Nick D here, and welcome back to the channel. So video schedule has not been that great lately. I haven't been able to get back to Gyakuten Live as of late, and I'm going to try to get that fixed soon. Right now, my attention is Tears of the Kingdom. I've been playing a lot of that. So far, loving it. Tears of the Kingdom is phenomenal. It's just such a great game. Oh my god, I've been waiting so long for that sequel. But anyway, I'm here with a reaction video. Elements of Justice, we are back at it. Like, I feel like I'm just going to be like a YouTube channel dedicated to knockoffs of Ace Attorney stuff here. I feel like that's where my channel is heading. Well, anyway, Elements of Justice, episode 9 of the second case that is dropped actually as of this video, as of recording this video yesterday. And it's 2 hours and 16 minutes long. Good Lord in heaven. They're trying to kill me. Oh my god, my poor computer. Fortunately, I was able to like get some stuff moved around on my computer and onto a portable hard drive, so I was able to move some stuff around, so I don't think I'm going to have many or any problems with recording the video. Alright guys, so it's been a while since I've watched the last episode of Elements of Justice, so like a lot of stuff is vague. They're going to do a recap, more than likely. But what I do remember is like the signs are turning page, and he is the one that killed his dad. Royal Order was his name. I forget. I'm pretty sure it was Royal Order. But yeah, it looks like turning page might be the guilty party here. So we're going to see how things turn, how things go. I was actually talking to my sister about this episode the other day. Actually, earlier today. I told her I didn't see the episode, and I didn't. So this is completely blind, and she was telling me that you might want to have tissues on standby, and I do not have any tissues on standby. So if there are tears going to be flooding from my eyes, my shirt will be the one to absorb the cries. Try that down. All right. Well, I'm not going to dilly-dally much longer. Let's get it. Let's get it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Previously on Elements of Justice. Fear's been planning some kind of story from the very beginning. Sugar Stamp and Private Eye, somehow they're also a part of it.
I managed to test the blood that Apollo, Trucy, and I found on the trees the other day. It belonged to Royal Order. You remember the remaining suit of armor? I managed to find it. I noticed that the left side of the body plate had a particularly ugly dent in it.
Whatever happens in this trial, help my mom, no matter the cost.
Sweetie Belle was neither the one to make the tourniquet, nor the one to get the healing potion from Zecora. Some pony else did both. Silver Spoon!
When Sylvie came into my bedroom with the magazine, I saw that she had a small patch on her coat that was stained red.
The defense believes that the pony who broke into Carousel Boutique was none other than Silver Spoon! Now that we've confirmed all of this, we now know the true identity of the pony who sent that anonymous tip. That can only be Sweetie Belle herself. The fact of the matter is that this clone never existed in the first place. The breathing Scootaloo thought she heard coming from Royal Order.
The clone thing was
it must have come from some pony else.
You mean, who killed Royal Order?
There's only one pony who could have, and that's the son of the victim himself. Turning page!
That's enough. Your Honor, my son didn't kill my husband. I did.
The truth is out in the open now, and all that's left to shield it is one final testimony from Miss Devotion.
Goosebumps. Actual goosebumps. Oh, just jumping right into it. Okay. Between Royal Order and me.
My husband teleported us to Froggy Bottom Bog to search for our son. Finding nothing, we decided to travel up the path to the crossroads, then afterwards to the Nightmare Knight statue. During our search, we began to talk about turning page. It was a difficult topic, one that erupted into a bit of an argument. Things got out of hoof, and in a blind rage, I ended up knocking Royal Order into the base of the statue, killing him instantly. After realizing he was dead, I did what I needed to do in order to cover up the crime.
Pretty short and simple.
I see. And this, then, is what you claim to be what truly happened that night. How your husband was killed.
That's right, Your Honor.
So it would seem. But tell me this, Miss Devotion. You say you did what you needed to do in order to cover up the crime. But why did you move the body and lead us on this wild goose chase?
That's easy enough to answer. I wanted to make it look like Royal's death was an accident, that Timberwolves had killed him, not a pony. I knew that his death, once it was discovered, would be regarded with great suspicion.
Great suspicion?
Of course.
Like Among Us.
He was a member of the Royal Guard, after all.
If I make a joke like that again,
well,
cancel me.
On track to greater things.
Greater things? Does she mean...
To further complicate matters, the fact that he died on the base of the statue meant it would be hard to make it seem like Timberwolves had killed him. So, I needed to remove any possibility of him dying in any other way. The most immediate way to do that was by getting rid of the body altogether. My initial thought was to sink it into Froggy Bottom Bog, but I had to remove his armor first. Once it was off, I carried him away with my magic. However, doing so left that blood trail, the one found at the crossroads, behind, leading back to the statue.
The problem is,
that
I think...
explains why Royal didn't have any armor on him when
I'll pause for a second, because like I think the problem with that is like if you're going to, and I'm no expert on this, okay, I'm no forensics expert, but I'm pretty sure if you try to throw a dead body into water, like eventually the body would rise up unless it's been like, I don't know, if you like chain it down to like cement blocks or something like that. Then again, if it's like a bog and if like the liquid is more dense than water, I guess it could stay underneath. I don't know. I don't know. But and honestly, like, so like if you're trying to get rid of the body, wouldn't it be better to have the armor on so that way like it could sink better? Because if it's heavier around the body, that means it could sink better.
him later.
In any event, while moving the body, I heard a clang coming from the statue area. I immediately left the body at the crossroads and rushed back. I didn't find any pony, but I was worried. The fact that there was a clang meant some pony had been at the scene. I was also worried because I could hear Timberwolves fast approaching.
The scent of the blood must have attracted them to the area then.
There was no time to waste. I used my magic to lift the blood on the statue, as well as the armor, and brought them to the clearing through the trees.
I don't know about that one.
Why both?
As the Timberwolves were in the area, I hoped that they'd lap up the blood if I left it in the clearing for them to find. I also hoped that they'd maybe gnaw on the armor,
thereby leaving traces of their presence at the scene, further corroborating the story you were concocting.
Exactly. I figured that it'd be an easy enough story to believe. Murder doesn't occur in Equestria, but accidents? Those are easier for us to digest.
That explains the armor. But was it just the chest plate you took into the clearing?
No, I also took the helmet, but I didn't leave it at the clearing. I chose to carry it with me so I could dispose of it later.
Why would you want to dispose of it?
Because of the hole on the side, right where Royal Order had been impaled. If any investigator found that helmet and that hole, they'd be able to dismantle my story.
So you finished setting up the parameters for this story. What did you do afterwards?
Well, after I left the Timberwolves to their feast, I returned to the statue to make sure I didn't leave anything behind. Then I headed back to the crossroads to retrieve Royal Order's body. But
what?
The body, it was missing. Vanished somehow.
Vanished? Didn't you find that odd?
Yeah.
Of course I did. I'm not a fool, Miss Sykes.
No one claimed you were.
But at the time, I thought perhaps my luck had changed. That the Timberwolves really had eaten the body, even though I hadn't seen any wolves yet. Still, it has been bothering me. And up until now, I didn't know how the body could have vanished.
Up until now?
It should be obvious, shouldn't it? That body couldn't have moved on its own. No, some pony else must have moved it. And that pony was Sugar Stamp.
Sugar Stamp? How can you say that?
Actually, Princess Twilight, I don't have to say that. You and your partner already did it for me.
Qua?
We did?
That male pony, Sugar Stamp. She had a badge with a similar shape as the mark on the wagon.
Right.
Oh, man.
You know what this means, right?
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. That male pony was in the forest that night.
Time is up, Defense. You've had enough time to discuss. Have you concluded who may have left the mark on the wagon?
The defense has identified a possible suspect, Your Honor.
And who might they be?
The defense formally accuses the male pony by the name of Sugar Stamp.
You said it yourself.
Damn.
That mark proves Sugar Stamp moved the body to the castle ruins. But I don't think she did so just to frame Turning Page or Scootaloo.
Then why? Why would she move it?
Earlier, Sugar Stamp said she'd been in the forest. Now, I hadn't seen her at all, but she surely must have seen me. She must have also seen what happened at the statue.
You mean she witnessed you killing Royal Order?
That would be the most probable explanation. After seeing that, she would have wanted to protect me. So, while I was otherwise occupied at the clearing, Sugar Stamp took Royal's body and dumped it at the castle ruins. As for why there, well, you pointed out one possibility, Miss Sykes. She was trying to pin the murder on Turning Page and Scootaloo, and make the ruins look like the real crime scene. But I think there's another possibility. If she had seen the blackmail exchange, and the ponies involved, she could have been trying to pin the blame on maybe Diamond Tiara, or Silver Spoon. But that isn't for me to speculate on. In any event, I believe Sugar Stamp was trying to protect her friend. And that's why she decided to provide a false confession, with help from Detective Private Eye.
I see. And for Private Eye to have helped her, then, that must mean he was also trying to protect you.
I believe so. Royal was his friend. Perhaps Private Eye felt that he had to do justice by him, for me.
What about the bruises that we found on Turning Page? They still place him at the crossroads where Scootaloo crashed.
Right. And Silver Spoon and Zecора's testimonies can't account for his whereabouts after he fled the castle. The bruises are the only things that we have that can explain where he went. You can't just dismiss them, Fair Devotion.
I suppose I cannot. But I'll keep to my word. Something you ought to learn, Miss Sykes.
Damn. Damn.
Though those bruises place him at the crossroads, they in no way demonstrate any involvement Turning might have had with his father's death. For all we know, sometime during that night, while fleeing, he might have teleported to the crossroads in an attempt to get out of the forest quicker. He is a gifted unicorn, after all. Just like his father, he'd have seen the body before Sugar had moved it. At the same time, he might have heard Scootaloo coming, and then propped himself next to the body. The crash occurred, Scootaloo ran off, the bruises formed, and after a time, Turning managed to flee the forest too. All without having anything to do with what happened to Royal Order.
If that's the case, then Turning Page, why haven't you said anything until now?
It's as I said before, Princess Twilight. Royal Order taught his son the importance of taking responsibility, even for things he has no control over. He kept silent then, in order to protect me.
He wanted to protect his mom, though. Well, rather, he wanted
The
those
court
two to protect his
appreciates you
mom, but I'm
clarifying
pretty sure
matters for us,
he wants to protect
witness.
his mother too.
Now then, normally, this would be when the cross-examination would occur. However...
You feel as though it, along with Miss Devotion's further comments, have answered many of our questions, and that a cross-examination would be nothing more than a formality, changing nothing. Correct, Your Honor?
Indeed. I can think of no discrepancies within it that a cross-examination would reveal.
Honestly, me neither, Athena. Fair Devotion's words add up.
Sure, her words do. But I think that you and I have noticed that it's not always words that matter in a testimony. It's also the witness's heart, their emotions.
Then that means you must have heard some discord in her heart?
Unmistakably. And I'll bet anything that if we can figure out why it's there, we'll be able to unearth the truth.
Which means another therapy session.
That's right. Your
All right.
Honor! The defense requests that instead of a usual cross-examination, we conduct a therapy session in its place.
A therapy session, you say? Well, I have no qualms about that. Prosecutor Luna, do
Can you imagine, like, real court?
We
Like,
do
they
not
just,
object
like,
to this idea, Your Honor.
they just,
If the
like, bring
defense
a
wishes
therapist
to do
out
so,
for a therapy session?
So be it.
Better Call Saul would have changed
Thank you,
so
Prosecutor Luna.
much
All
if they
right
brought a
then.
therapist into
In that case,
to every
hold
courtroom.
Ugh. If that's the sort of look teachers give when they're about to scold you, I think I might have dodged a bullet with all those days off.
Miss
You weren't
Fair
in school,
Devotion, what's wrong?
Stay in school,
Your
kids.
Honor, Prosecutor Luna, surely after everything you've witnessed, you cannot seriously permit Miss Sykes to continue this charade.
Charade?
Straight. What?
What are you talking about?
That
Hello?
naivete, that ignorance.
Naivete.
That is what I mean.
That's a good word. I'm
Miss
going to remember that
Devotion?
one.
I believe it would benefit all of us if you would refrain from being coy.
Fine. Then allow me to explain myself. Miss Sykes, why did you take this case?
Why? I mean, I did it because I wanted to defend Scootaloo and Turning Page.
Indeed. And how have you gone about defending them? Let me offer you a fresh reminder. The first course of action you undertook was accusing Zecora. A ludicrous claim, to be sure. One backed not by evidence, but by conjecture. You were perfectly willing to besmirch Zecora's good name if it meant you could say
Happened to
that
Zecora
Turning Page
twice
and
in these
Scootaloo-
spin-offs. Actually, no, not twice. Excuse me.
I know.
I'm thinking of Fluttershy. Excuse me.
Following that, you turned to an even more fantastic avenue of explanation, boldly claiming that there were clones involved.
Yes, but we just proved that there weren't any clones that night.
And that's my point.
Your point?
You made one assertion in the previous trial. Then at the end, you made a completely different one. And here we are, rolling our eyes at you changing your mind yet again. Zecora is the killer. Oh, sorry. She isn't actually. My mistake, Your Honor. There are clones involved. Now that I think about it, that's not true at all, is it? Sorry, Prosecutor Luna. You've changed your entire stance so many times that I'm not sure you even know what you are trying to do.
Hang on.
Jeez.
Yet, as if that
She's
wasn't
unloading
enough, you began this
into
case
this
with
poor
the
woman.
intention of defending my son. And now it would appear you intend on closing it by doing the exact opposite. Accusing him of killing his own father. Why?
Why? Because it...
It's because
I felt
it'd
like
be
it.
the most convenient for you.
Damn. Emotional
Devotion,
damage.
What are you saying?
Let me put it plainly, Your Honor. Miss Sykes promised she would defend my son. Now she isn't. She has, in fact, made many promises throughout this trial, only to renege every single one. Each time you changed your argument, it was to pursue whatever narrative would, conveniently, make it look like you knew exactly what you were doing. I have half the mind to think that you went into this case not
That's
to defend my
y'all, though.
son, but in order to prove yourself as a lawyer. Well, you've proven something, all right. You've proven you'll stubbornly stick to your own theories, your own misguided notions, all in order to make yourself look capable. Even if it means going back on your word. But let me tell you something, Miss Sykes. Any pony who does not stand by their word is not worth the time of day.
Bro. Emotional damage.
Miss Devotion, that is enough.
Is it? Then let me ask you this, Prosecutor Luna. Do you honestly believe what Miss Sykes is now claiming? That Turning Page killed his own father? Can you honestly take that at face value, given her previous actions?
Ooh.
It is a most distressing theory. One that is difficult to swallow.
That may be quite the understatement coming from you. And you, Princess Twilight.
Uh-oh.
You're our princess of friendship, aren't you? Tell me, would a friend, a true friend, go as far as to accuse the pony she vowed to save?
A true friend accuses friends in need.
What about those in the gallery? Those who have been watching this trial since the very beginning. You've seen exactly what I've seen, heard exactly what I've heard. Surely you cannot ignore how dubious Miss Sykes appears. She's no lawyer by any measure, nor a psychologist. She's merely a child, blindly chasing equally blind ambitions, with no regard to how they'll affect those around her. Isn't it time we stop pretending to think she's anything but?
I need a minute. Whoa. Whoa. She wasn't even talking to me, and I feel called out. What the f... Wow. Whew. Wow. Okay, breathe, Nick. Breathe. We're only 20 minutes into this 2-hour-long escapade. God, I need more water. Whew.
The mayor's right. That human has flip-flopped too many times.
And now she's accusing that conculded. How despicable. She's just a hypocrite.
Be still!
How could anyone do such a thing? It's unheard of.
Order! Miss Devotion, I do believe you've said quite enough. I will not permit more slander in my courtroom. Otherwise, I will hold you in contempt.
I understand, Your Honor. That was everything I needed to say anyway.
Let it be so for the time
Is that gonna go on
being.
the court record, though?
Miss Sykes, I do believe... Miss Sykes?
Emotional damage. Oh, God. Homegirl just had a full-on mental breakdown, didn't she?
What am I doing? I can't let Fair's words get to me. And yet, I know that she's right. The only pony who could have killed Royal Order was his son, Turning Page. Amazing how in one moment those words could sound so certain, and then in the next, they sound only empty and hollow. I can't deny it. It was my arrogance, my hubris, my relentless unwillingness to look at the greater picture that led us to today, to accusing Turning Page, to going back on my promise to him. And now, not even those who I thought were on my side can stand by me. Prosecutor Luna, you believed in Turning and Scootaloo's innocence. You trusted that I would prove it to the court. I can't even begin to wonder how you're feeling. How betrayed you must be. Would 1,000 apologies across 1,000 nights ever make things right? And you, Twilight, you, who said you'd stand by my side to the very end. Was this what you had in mind? The two of us facing the consequences of my actions yet again. All this pain, the suffering. Because I couldn't face the truth until it was staring me right in the face. Leaving us with... what exactly? If we accept what Fair's saying, if we accept her lie, then while Turning will be free, Fair will be banished forever, leaving him alone. But if we reject the lie in favor of the truth, that he was the one who killed his father, won't that be just as bad? Fair will be let go, but Turning...
Can I ask you to do something, Miss Sykes?
Banish both of them.
In this trial, please, help my mom. No matter the cost.
This must be what you were referring to. You knew your mom would pull something like this, but you don't want her to take the blame for you. Private Eye and Sugar Stamp, you both look scared too. But you must know that it's the truth, that Turning killed his father. You must know. And
hopefully not intentionally, though.
You must not know what to do about it. And you, Fair Devotion, you look confident. You think you can do this. Can take the blame for your husband's murder all in order to protect your son. But your heart and the discord in it, they're telling me otherwise. You're hurting having to do this. Everyone. Twilight, Luna, Fair Devotion, Private Eye, Sugar Stamp, Turning Page, Scootaloo, me. Everyone is hurting because of this case. There isn't a single good outcome. Whatever I do next, it's gonna result in us losing something. But what am I willing to lose? Is that the question, though? Is that what I need to answer? Or is that what just landed me here in the first place?
This is a good inner monologue.
First trial. I wasn't willing to lose. Losing would have meant Scootaloo and Turning would be found guilty. And it would have meant that I wasn't a capable enough lawyer. That led to me accusing Zecora, then believing clones were involved. All because I thought this was about winning and losing. But is it? Is being a lawyer about winning the case every time? No, of course not. That's why I ended up accusing Turning Page. Being a lawyer isn't about shouting objections. It's not about pointing fingers or slamming desks. It's not about
that's half your
winning a case
franchise,
with a
though.
fancy display of logic and reasoning. If it was all that, I wouldn't have been a lawyer in the first place. No. I became a lawyer because... Want to know something? I didn't even want to be a lawyer when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah. The main reason why I studied law and psychology in the first place was because I wanted to save a dear friend. He was accused and convicted of murdering my mother when I was younger, and I studied as hard as I could so I could free him. I didn't become a lawyer because I wanted to win. I became a lawyer because I wanted to save someone. And in saving them, I wanted to save and show to the world the truth I always knew existed. Have I always known that? Maybe I have. But that doesn't matter. Trials and courtrooms, lawyers and clients, innocence or guilt, it's not about what you're willing to lose. It's about what you're willing to save.
Game face
What's
is on.
that look on your face,
Let's go.
Miss Sykes?
Everything you said about
Athena's
Mr.
about to
Devotion
stunt on some
is
hoes.
correct. I am naive. I am reckless. And I have consistently changed my stance.
She's pulling an
throughout
8 Mile,
this
like
case.
when like
And
Rabbit
I
was like
recognize
saying
that
in his rap battle, like how he was like dissing himself, so that way the other opposing rapper couldn't like diss him. I am white. I am a fucking bum. I do live in a trailer with my mom, and I do have a dumb named Fred Cheddar Bob who shot himself in the leg with his own gun. And I get jumped by all 6 of you chumps. But I know something about you. You went to Cranbrook. That's a private school. She's pulling that pretty much. She's like, I am naive. I am reckless. But but I'm still gonna stunt on you.
Makes me look hopelessly lost. Like I have no idea what I'm doing. Maybe I don't.
Hold up, let her cook.
Maybe half the time, it feels like I'm stumbling in the dark, fumbling for a switch. And the moment I find it and flip it on, it becomes apparent that how this trial has progressed, with all of its twists and turns, is mostly my fault. I accept and admit that much.
Is that so? Well, I am glad you at least have the maturity to take some measure of responsibility.
Yes.
Hang on, let her cook, let her
But
cook.
even so, though I accept that I've made many mistakes, I refuse to let that stop me.
You refuse?
It doesn't matter what you think of me, Fair Devotion, if you really do consider me nothing but a child. It doesn't matter if the gallery or court agree. What matters is that I resolve to continue down this path I've started us on. In pursuit of the one and only truth, no matter what you or any pony else has to say about me.
She felt that one.
I see. Then that must mean you understand what I've said is the truth?
It's not about that, lady.
Far from it.
Excuse me?
I know you want us to accept that it is the truth, Miss Devotion, and I know why you need it to be. But I can tell you from personal experience, taking the blame for someone else's crime is a short-term solution that can only end in tragedy later down the line. And that may be fine to you, but it's not fine to me. It wasn't then, and it won't be now or ever again.
What?
Let's go, let's go,
In that
let's go.
case, Miss Sykes, what will your next course of action be?
There we?
If you don't mind, Your Honor, I'd actually like to discuss that with my co-counsel before I say anything else.
Very well. Though, please be quick about it.
All right. Hopefully
Yeah, we
that's
can't
convinced
waste
Fair that I'm not backing down any longer.
the pony folks' taxpayer
That
money.
just leaves Twilight.
Huh? Yeah.
Well, actually, hold on. Is Athena even being paid for this? Is she doing this pro bono for free? And what about the judge? Is he doing this pro bono too? I doubt Luna's getting a cut of this. Where do the taxpayers' money come into this? There's so many questions.
Fair's words must have shaken her up quite badly. Okay. I need to be clear about this. I want to be upfront about this. I'm going to push for using the mood matrix on Fair's testimony, but I want to know what you want to do.
What I want? Why me?
Because we're a team.
And for one second, I see like a little bug circling around my lamp. I want to try to get it off. Sorry about that, guys.
Everything we've gone through, the good and the bad, every mistake, every triumph, we share that responsibility. I know that right now, you're feeling scared about that responsibility. I understand. You may be a little uncertain as to if you can keep trusting me.
No, never.
Even if that is the case, I want you to know, I fully believe that using the mood matrix will lead to the best outcome. But if something goes wrong, and if there are consequences to this, it won't be just you facing them. It'll be me as well. In good times and in bad, I promise you, I'll share those burdens, no matter what.
That sounds like a wedding vow.
I don't want to push you to take on this task with me if you don't want to. That's why I'm asking what you want to do. And if you want us to do something else, we'll do that together too.
You're certain that using the mood matrix is the best course of action?
Positive. No matter what Fair Devotion thinks. Or maybe it'd be more accurate to say it's precisely because of what she thinks.
Then I'm game. Let's do it, Athena.
Let's rock and roll.
And whatever happens next,
let's rock and roll.
Happens next.
Thank you, Twilight.
Defense? The court would like to have your answer.
Your Honor, the defense stands by its request to conduct a therapy session with Miss Devotion.
What? That's absurd! After everything you've done, why should I be subjected to such treatment?
Objection!
Witness, It may be true that the defense's position has been flawed since the beginning of this case. Be that as it may, the position is irrelevant in the matters of the courtroom. Evidence is what counts. And the evidence the defense has put forth, at the very least, shows that there is more going on here than what you claim. To that end, the prosecution wholeheartedly supports the defense's motion.
The court agrees.
I don't want to go to therapy
I
now!
suppose I can tolerate these antics a little longer.
I don't want to see Fraser
Sykes,
Crane.
You may begin your therapy session when you are ready.
You got it, Your Honor.
Wow, I'm still so impressed with this technology, Athena. It's amazing.
That's my mother for you. She and the engineer she worked with were a great team. And it's thanks to them that we have the ability to clear up this testimony.
That's a lot of noise, though.
Yeah, I expected as much. Miss Devotion is desperately trying to keep everything under wraps.
But we can't let that stop us.
And we won't. Time to kiss this noise goodbye.
My husband teleported us to Froggy Bottom Bog to search for our son. Finding nothing, we decided to travel up the path to the crossroads, then afterwards to the Nightmare Knight statue. During our search, we began to talk about turning page. It was a difficult topic, one that erupted into a bit of an argument.
Got it! Miss Devotion, this argument you had, it must have gotten you very angry.
Obviously.
And yet, I couldn't help but notice you sounded sad and shocked, along with being angry. Is there any reason why that comes to mind?
None whatsoever. Your little toy must be wrong. I distinctly recall being angry and nothing else.
That was admittedly a long shot, especially since she's trying to cover everything up. Still, I wonder, what even incited the argument in the first place? I know she said that they didn't find anything, but what if they did? And what if it led them to talking about turning page? At any rate, you say you were angry with Royal Order?
Beyond angry. Furious, in fact. To the point that I didn't even have to think when I kicked him into the statue.
Kicked him? That's odd. If you kicked him hard enough for him to be impaled at the statue's base, then how do you explain this?
That's
Oh, yeah.
Royal's armor.
Indeed. But surely, looking at it, you can see why I need an explanation for what we found on it.
Forgive me, Miss Sykes. Could you explain to the court what you mean?
Gladly, Your Honor. Look at the left side. Do you see that dent?
I do.
Does that dent look like it was made by a set of hooves?
Nope. That's a definite no.
It looks more like something somewhat rectangular struck it.
Exactly,
Probably the base
Your
of the
Honor.
statue, right?
Something rectangular. Meaning the dent could not have come from some pony kicking the armor, as Miss Devotion has just claimed.
That's right. But then, how do you explain the dent?
If Miss Devotion can't, I think I can. Based on what the Mood Matrix revealed, and how I've already claimed that turning is the real culprit, then the object which formed this dent in the armor must have been... Take that! Turning's own wooden
Oh,
sword!
duh.
That's just not possible. Turning wasn't anywhere near the Nightmare Knight statue. Plus, he had his sword with him the whole night, remember? He certainly had it when he attacked Diamond Tiara. More than that, though.
Let me finish for you, Miss Devotion. You're about to say that afterwards, Turning couldn't have used his sword. Is that right?
Why do you say that, Miss Sykes?
Because, Your Honor, Turning's sword broke when he hit Diamond Tiara during the blackmail exchange.
It broke?
Exactly my point! Even if Turning was near the statue, he could not have used his sword to attack Royal Order.
That would appear to be the case, sure. But that becomes entirely irrelevant when we consider a couple of factors.
Irrelevant?
Right. Turning Page is a unicorn. You just admitted to us that he can teleport. So, he could have used his magic to teleport to the statue at some point, bringing his sword with him.
And more than that, he also could have used his magic to hold the pieces of his sword together. If he teleported there after he attacked Diamond Tiara, he could still have used the sword to attack Royal Order. It would have been just as effective in two pieces held together by magic as it would have been whole.
But teleporting to the statue would have required that he knew where the statue was. What proof is there that he'd ever been there?
That's easy. He would have gone there many times, thanks to a certain Nightmare Night
Right, where the
tradition.
kids bring candy to the Nightmare Night statue.
It's for Nightmare Night. It's a holiday where fillies and colts go from house to house collecting candy. And then, at the end of the night, we all come here and give up some of our candy so that Nightmare Moon will gobble us up.
Since that tradition involves bringing candy to the statue, it's not unreasonable to think that, at some point, Turning would have visited it during the holiday.
Exactly.
Your Honor, the defense requests that the dent in the armor be tested against the sword. I believe it will show that the two are a perfect match. I'd also like to pause the current therapy session until this test is done. Is that okay?
Granted, and yes, that's fine by me. Prosecutor Luna?
I see no problem with either of these requests.
Very well. Bailiff, make haste with this test. Bailiff, what do the results say?
It's as the defense claimed, Your Honor. The sword does match the shape of the dent found on the left side of the armor.
Is that Javis?
Miss Devotion, do you have an explanation for this?
Fine, I concede. That sword, it was found at the statue. In fact, it was what started the argument in the first place.
Oh. Okay. Chipping away a little bit.
If it was at the statue, then that must mean Turning Page had indeed gone there that night.
Turning?
Huh? Yes, Miss Sykes?
Before we continue with your mother's therapy session, I need to ask you something. Could you elaborate on what happened at the statue exactly?
Yeah, sure. After Scootaloo and I left the blackmail deal, I wanted to get ahead of her, to make sure she'd be okay. So, I thought I'd try and teleport. But the problem was, I didn't know a lot of places in the forest. There was the bog, but that would have meant more time walking.
So you chose to teleport to the statue?
Uh-huh. I figured that, even if I had to walk back along the path to catch up to Scootaloo, it'd still be faster than running the whole way. But when I teleported to the statue, I heard voices coming. I recognized them. They were Mom and Dad's. And they were coming way too quickly for me to charge another teleport. So, I ducked behind the statue to hide from them. But I forgot to take my sword with me. It was too late to grab it. I heard them come, and when they saw my sword, they began to argue.
Is this? Oh no. No. Please, no!
Fair? What is it?
His sword, Royal. I found his sword. You know he'd never leave it behind. Unless...
Whoa, hang on a second. I'm sure nothing bad's happened to him.
Nothing bad? Are you serious? We're in the Everfree Forest. Nothing good happens here.
Turning's a tough kid. He wouldn't let himself fall victim to some forest monster.
Wouldn't let himself. Do you hear yourself, Royal? If anything happened to Turning, it'd be your fault and you know it!
My fault? What are you talking about?
Oh, don't you play innocent with me. It's your fault for insisting that you do all your training with him in the Celestia Forsaken Forest. If you hadn't done that...
If I hadn't done that, then Turning would not be ready to join the Guard when the time comes.
He's a child, Royal. Stars above, how can you be so blind to that?
I'm not blind to that.
Furthermore, do you have any idea how your training has been affecting him? Do you have any idea what he's done? He's got some reckless hero complex now, and I do mean reckless. Earlier, he attacked Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon. You remember them, don't you? Or at least their parents?
I do.
Then you shouldn't be surprised to know that just before you came home, that snobby spoiled rich ransomed us for all our savings. In order to pay for the dresses our son ruined. I had to cancel our Hearts and Hooves dinner just to start saving up enough money to pay her off. A dinner, may I remind you, that had been planned for a while.
I just want to help Turning pursue his dream.
Ugh, pursue his dream, sure. And how exactly are you doing that? Being away from home all the time, not disciplining Turning when you are around?
You're making it sound like I'm the only one who should be disciplining him. You're his mother.
A mother whom he doesn't listen to, a mother whom he won't give even a moment's consideration, all because she wants him to attend school. That kind of mother?
Even so, fair. You know why I've had to work away from home more this past year. I can't just ignore my duties, especially not now of all times.
So you choose your job over your own family?
That's not fair. It's not that simple, much as I'd like it to be.
This is exactly why Turning needs to be disciplined more, so that he can understand what it means to have more responsibility.
Mom and Dad continued to argue. They just kept getting angrier and angrier, until
I took the sword that was lying at the scene and struck Royal Order in the side. That resulted in him being knocked into the statue, and then dying.
She came in quick there. I feel like there's more to it.
Turning. I want to hear what happened after the argument in your own words, without your mother interrupting you.
Put a gag on her.
Shoot. He's climbed up again. How can I convince him to talk?
Pestering him won't change the facts, Miss Sykes. It is exactly as I have said it to be. I attacked Royal Order and killed him using Turning's sword. Nothing else needs to be explained.
Objection! Nothing, you say? Then what about the fact that Turning was later found behind the victim on the crossroads?
That is entirely inconsequential to this trial. I'll say it again. This trial is to determine Sweetie Belle's guilt or innocence. My confession proves the latter. This trial has gone on long enough with you attempting to take our focus off of that. I demand that this comes to an end, here and now.
I almost forgot that Sweetie Belle was the original
I'm afraid you cannot determine that
defendant.
for us, Miss Devotion. The court will decide that when we believe it is most appropriate.
You also seem to have forgotten that we are still technically in the middle of your therapy session, witness.
Oh, so I'm just witness to you now.
Miss Sykes chose to interrupt it to both request an analysis and hear from your son. However, said therapy session was not brought to its conclusion, and thus must continue.
That doesn't matter at this point.
Objection!
To you, perhaps not. The same cannot be said for myself and the defense, though. Am I correct, Miss Sykes?
Completely.
Therefore, witness, you will do this therapy session, and you will do it post-haste. There will be no more delays.
Fine. Let's get this pointless exercise out of the way, then.
Exercise is not important. Exercise is not pointless. Exercise is everything. I know she was talking about a different exercise. I'm just making a joke. I'm trying to be stupid and silly. God. Only like 40-something minutes in.
Between
Jeez.
Royal Order and myself broke out because we found Turning's sword at the statue. In a blind rage, I used that sword to hit my husband, causing him to fall over into the statue, eliciting a clang.
Got it.
Okay, let's see what we got.
You're saying when you hit your husband, he made a clanging sound on impact?
Well, not him per se,
Yes?
but like the
What about
sword
it?
to the metal.
I noticed that while you were saying that, your anger and sadness subsided a little. Meanwhile, your shock remained just as intense. Why is that?
Clearly, it's because I was reacting to knocking royal order into the statue. I didn't think I had it in me, nor was it something I intended.
I don't buy that. That clang has got to be the source of why she was so shocked. Why else would that be the strongest emotion here? But if that's the case, then why would she be shocked? If it wasn't because she hid her husband, maybe
she saw.
Maybe it was
royal
because she
order?
didn't think she'd hear the clang in the first place? Because she was somewhere where she wouldn't have thought there'd be any. In other words, she wasn't on the scene when it sounded. And if that's the case...
Okay,
you
what do we
appear
got?
troubled by the witness's last statement, Miss Sykes. Have you some kind of rebuttal?
In a manner of speaking? Yes, Prosecutor Luna. When Miss Devotion heard the clang, I don't think she was actually at the statue. I think that, after the fight, she might have run off.
I see. Then her reaction...
For her to be as shocked as she was when she heard it, that clang must have been extremely loud. It would have surprised her, and she would have rushed back to the scene to find out what had happened. In other words, Miss Devotion didn't make the clang by hitting her husband. Something else did.
Did Fair Devotion pick up the sword himself?
What would it be?
It could only be Turning Page. While Fair was away, he would have come out from behind the statue, encountering his father there. He then used his magic to temporarily fix his sword and swing it into royal order, knocking him into the statue and creating that indentation.
That's an awful lot of speculation, Defense.
I recognize that. But it'd be easy enough for us to clear up if we simply ask Turning to...
Objection! You want to ask my son to support whatever you claim your little gadget there is saying?
Yeah?
And what makes you think I would let him do that? Or that any pony should let you ask him to do that? Isn't there a chance that the data is already skewed in your favor?
Witness? What do you mean?
Your Honor, what Miss Sykes has said can't be remotely trusted. Her evidence that Turning Page knocked royal order into a statue comes from what exactly? The idea that I was shocked by the clang? Shocked because, apparently, I was somewhere else when I heard it? And that evidence comes from a program which only Miss Sykes can access and control. She can tell it whatever she wants it to say. Knowing that, how can any pony trust what she claims that gadget says?
Come on.
How do we know she isn't just obscuring
I mean, I
the
see
facts
her
of
argument, but
device?
come on.
Now, hang on a second. That's not at all accurate.
Isn't it? Then let me ask you this. Who else is able to use that device?
My mama?
Well, it'd just be me.
Damn it.
Really? Just you? No pony else? Not your co-counsel? Not the prosecution? Not the judge?
No.
I want to have a turn
Then
with
you
your
see
toy.
my point. So long as the sole party able to operate that thing you wear around your neck
How come you
remains
didn't think about saying this sooner?
then the court should be under no obligation to take you at your word. After all, why should any pony trust some pony who weaves a web of knowledge only they can access?
Just kind of got her on that one, but...
She has a point. In the previous trial, only that human could use that weird smiley thingamajig.
And she used it in order to get her client declared innocent. Does that mean she's capable of using it to declare another pony guilty?
Uh-oh. Smear
really
campaign,
pulling out
smear
all the
campaign.
stops here, just to keep me from pushing forward. It's uncanny. She's definitely far more cunning than I gave her credit for.
Judge,
And
you can, like,
with her
hit the
son
gavel
on the line.
anytime.
But I won't shirk from this, no matter how much
Sure.
she pushes me.
That's a good word. What a new
Even
vocabulary
if you have
words
your
in this series, I
reservations about the
swear.
mood matrix, Miss Devotion, I still stand by its usefulness in court, and I know I'm not alone. My co-counsel, Princess Twilight, and Prosecutor Luna have both seen what this device can do, and His Honor has as well. If you can't trust me with it, then surely you can trust them.
Who I put my trust in is irrelevant, Miss Sykes. What matters is that you have at your disposal something which cannot be scrutinized by the rest of us, not without a certain blindness. A court, in good faith, cannot accept such blatantly biased tools and techniques if it is to conduct itself in accordance with its very principles.
But it isn't blatantly biased. The moon matrix reflects the emotions of those I use it on. It's merely showing the court what you're truly feeling.
Showing us isn't proving it to us. If you want to prove that I felt shocked for the reasons you said, you cannot just say it's because of what you saw or heard on that thing. Give us evidence. Real, tangible, concrete evidence. But I'm willing to bet you can't do that.
Uh-oh.
She's right again. There isn't really anything concrete I can use to prove my theory. After all, there's nothing I can show that proves who hit Royal Order. All we know for certain is that some pony did, with that sword. But it could equally have been fair or turning. Oh, well, I might not be able to do that now, but...
Why don't we ask some pony else?
Twilight?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, well, if the issue is that we ourselves don't know what exactly happened at the statue, we should ask some pony who says they witnessed it first hoof.
Turning page?
Of course! Let's ask Sugar Stamp!
Duh.
Me? Miss Stamp? Earlier, Miss Devotion claimed that you saw what had happened at the statue. Can you tell us what exactly you witnessed then?
I don't want... I mean... Diva, she... It's fine, Sugar Stamp. You need to tell her. You know you have to.
The way she's telling her to say, go on.
Letting her?
That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign.
Then yeah, I saw it.
Saw what exactly?
I saw Fair hit Royal Order with that sword.
What? No! That can't be right! Sugar Stamp, please! You can't lie to us!
She's not lying, Miss Sykes.
You can't expect me to believe...
Please, just go! Stop it already!
Yo.
What? Sugar Stamp?
Why are you doing this, Miss Sykes? I just want to protect my family. The family I have left. Why can't you just see that?
Private Eye!
Me? What is it now?
Just think about what you've been hearing. You have to know it's a lie.
You can't trust the corrupt cop. Come on.
You can add to help me prove that. Something you can testify to. An explanation you can give. Anything.
You're really grasping at straws here, homegirl.
What Miss Devotion claims to have happened.
Then, Sweetie Belle, what about...
Oh, she's getting a little...
No! Athena! This can't be the end. There's got to be another way out of this. There's got to be. But if none of them will help me... But maybe the last one, maybe he'll...
He'll what? Who's he?
Turning page.
Oh god.
What? Haven't you badgered my son enough for one trial, Miss Sykes?
Listen to me, Turning, please. You remember what you told me? In the lobby before today's trial?
Huh? What he told you?
I can't do that on my own. Not without your help. But you've got to speak up and tell us what really happened. Even if it looks like things will end badly.
That's enough, Miss Sykes! Your Honor, I want the defense held in contempt of court for the sheer ludicrousness of their behavior!
I thought I killed my own mother, Turning!
Athena! Miss Sykes? What did you...
And instead of me getting the guilty verdict, someone very close to me took the blame, even though both he and I knew he didn't really kill her. For years, I've had to live with that guilt, feeling as it wormed its way into my very being and destroyed any sense of self-worth I had. It took me years to find a way to stop that from happening. Can you imagine that?
She's trying to empathize with Turning.
Years upon years. Wave upon wave of crushing guilt. With no end in sight. Unwilling and unable to face the reality of what had happened. That's gonna happen to you, Turning. That guilt will eat you up without mercy and spit you out as a shell of your former self. It'll destroy you. Like it very nearly destroyed me. But unlike me, who didn't have a chance to prevent that from happening, you have that chance. You can stop the cycle of pain. You can prevent more lies, more half-truths, more guilt. Whatever happened, it took your father from you. But whatever happens now, don't let it take your soul too. Please, Turning, don't do this for me. Do this for your father, for your mother, for Scootaloo, for every pony you hold dear.
Shit. Oh god, my sister was right. I need. Whoa.
Don't listen to her, Turning. She's just trying to trick you.
Who would lie about that?
Miss Sykes. Scootaloo. Well, what's that?
It's a ribbon. I got it from Rainbow Dash a while ago. It's supposed to represent the courage one has to do something awesome for yourself and your friends.
It's from Miss Dash? Well, I can't take this from you then. And besides, with the way you're trembling, it sounds like you're going to need it.
No, I want you to have it.
But why?
Well, as thanks for earlier today, and for standing by my side now for one. But more importantly, I want you to have it so that you don't forget that while you're in there, to have the courage to keep moving forward. To me, you represent everything that ribbon stands for. So, as
Love
long
the
as you
music, by the
don't
way. Oh
forget
my
it,
god, it's so
I'll be
freaking good.
fine standing by your side.
Okay, Miss Sykes.
Turning?
You're right. Only I have the power to stop this from continuing. And knowing that, I should wield that power responsibly. And now I choose to use that power to help you.
Turning, no!
Everything you said, Miss Sykes, about what happened that night, about how my father died, about who swung the sword.
There we go.
It's true.
Fair. Fair. Wait, don't run off. Oh, pony feathers. Goddess, preserve me. What was I thinking? Fair's been going through so much while I've been gone. She has every right to be upset with me. But is she right? Is Turning's behavior the result of my actions? If that's the case, should I stop altogether? Cede my position, come home, raise him properly? I feel like not even Private Eye would know what to do here. And that stallion's the smartest guy I know.
Dad?
Turning page?
Hold it!
Come on, man.
Miss Devotion, what are you doing?
Don't listen to him, Your Honor. He's just confused. Confused and trying to protect his mother. He doesn't know what he's saying.
She's on the verge of mental break.
Another word, young colt. I appreciate you trying to protect me, but you don't need to.
Objection! Miss Devotion, you need to let your son speak. You can't keep skirting around the truth like this.
Can't I? There's no truth here. It's just a bunch of messed up memories of that night. None of it is real.
It is real, Witness. You must come to terms with that.
She's been
Your
trying to cope with it.
Died. That is indisputable. The culprit.
Don't tell me you've fallen for this delusion.
You're the one living a delusion, Fair Devotion.
Yeah.
But it is time that you come out of it.
No! I'm not the one in the wrong here. Everybody else is.
Good lord.
My son didn't kill Royal Order. I did. No matter how many times you ask me to explain myself, that remains unchanged.
Athena, look at the mood matrix.
Uh-oh, it's gone haywire.
Not this again. What's going on? It's Miss Devotion. Her emotions are out of control. She's overloading the mood matrix.
She's on the verge of a mental breakdown. Actually, no, scratch that. She is going through a mental breakdown.
Pinpoint whatever's truly causing Fair's emotional rampage. You've given me a brilliant idea, Miss Devotion.
Oh, what do you want?
You say that no matter how many times we ask you to explain yourself, you'll stand by what you claim? Then fine. I'll take you up on that. Tess?
Oh, for real.
I mean, add this to your testimony. Explain yourself. Explain everything. Everything about the murder of Royal Order. Fine! Twilight, we're going to have to play things a little differently on this one.
Yeah, to a full.
I don't think we have a chance to just calm Miss Devotion down. And we're far past the point of going back to her earlier testimony.
Then what?
We finish this. In one attempt, we probe the overloaded emotion and find the opening we need to shut Miss Devotion down for good at the same time. This is the last move we can make.
They're closing in on checkmate.
Then let's make it count.
Right. Allons-y.
Did they just drop the Doctor Who? Surrounded by a bunch of nerds.
I'm the one who killed Royal Order. Sugar Stamp moved the body to shift the blame onto herself. Private Eye did the same. He pinned the crime on Sugar Stamp in an effort to help me. And even my own son, he saw me kill Royal, and now he's trying to take the blame for my sake. You have to believe me. They're only protecting the one who actually killed Royal Order.
Got it. Twilight, that was it.
This is... It looks like Sugar Stamp, Private Eye, and Turning Page.
Right. But that's not what we're probing. The root cause of Fair Devotion's sadness is Turning Page himself. Here's the kicker, though. Did you hear what she just said?
Which part?
That they're protecting the one who actually killed Royal Order, right?
Exactly. Sugar Stamp and Private Eye are easy enough to explain.
Right.
Right. They provided false evidence and testimony, which Fair is saying was done in order to protect her.
But if Turning Page is the one who really killed his father, then the real reason for why those two would have lied to the court
would have been in order to protect Turning Page. But the scope of it, the knowledge required, they couldn't have done this with just the two of them.
No.
More players
They
involved?
would have needed some pony to wrangle all the parts of the plan together. And I have a good feeling that some pony was Fair Devotion.
Yeah.
Fair Devotion.
She was the puppeteer in this.
She wants to protect her son.
Right.
Now, considering then how close Sugar Stamp and Private Eye were to the entire family,
yeah, they were
wouldn't have had a hard
friends.
time convincing them to help for Turning's sake. And now, she's completely distraught over what she's made them do. Even so, that's going to be difficult to prove. I don't have any evidence on hand.
Now it's all starting to make sense because Fair Devotion is still trying to cope with the fact that her son has killed her husband, and she's trying to protect her son. And in doing so, she brought in two family friends that she holds dear into this whole mess. It's breaking this whole family apart, and the copium is just to the max. Wow.
And we've gone as far as we can with testimonies. It'll have to come from some pony other than Fair Devotion, and it'll need to be definitive enough to not require any further questioning.
Right.
And that will have to be Turning Page. But there's no way Fair Devotion would let that happen.
She'd sooner die than implicate her own son.
Yeah.
Not to mention that the alternative would be...
Bro, if we see like Fair Devotion have a heart attack in middle of the courtroom, would not be surprised.
banishment.
Maybe not. Twilight, how close is Equestria's judicial system to ours? Down to the legal codes and procedures.
I'd say it's a near exact replica. Why?
If that's the case, then there's something important that applies here.
It feels like manslaughter.
Clause of sorts that states a defendant cannot be prosecuted and found guilty for the same crime twice.
Double jeopardy. I was talking about this earlier. Does this go to double jeopardy?
Only explanation left.
Because like if he was already found
And
innocent,
the one that clears up these
then
last
like
and
he can't
final
be called back to the same trial. Like what?
Double jeopardy clause.
I was talking about this earlier. Oh my god, was I calling this?
So you mean even if Turning Page was to be found guilty of killing his father, he couldn't be banished? That's great!
Hold it!
Uh-oh.
Fair Devotion?
I can hear you over there, you know. You think I haven't heard about double jeopardy?
Wait. She's calmed down. Her sadness isn't out of control anymore. And now she's just mad. Not that I'm surprised.
Huh.
Are you listening? Do you really think double jeopardy matters in the slightest?
It does.
Yes.
If Turning were to confess to killing his father, he wouldn't be punished for the crime.
Punished not, maybe, in the court of law, but in the court of public opinion? You might as well hand him the elements to banish himself to the sun. He'll be forever branded as the cult who killed his father, and the cult who got away with it. There's no justice in that, only cruelty!
Objection! How is the alternative any better? You'd get banished, Miss Devotion, and then what? What'll happen to Turning Page? There'll be no mother to look after him. No father to raise him. Your
Yeah,
two
dead mother and
accomplices,
banished
Sugar Stamp and Private
dead
Eye,
father and
they wouldn't be able to
banished
help either.
mother.
On account of the two of them also being punished.
Abandoned? No. Banished.
In other words,
Just banished.
if you continue to do
Words.
this, Turning Page will be left all alone with no one to care for him.
All alone? There's always a chance a family would be willing to adopt.
How much of a chance, though? You said it yourself.
Yeah,
Turning
yeah.
will forever be tarnished by the accusation that he killed his father.
Which was your fault, if you hadn't accused him in the first place.
It doesn't matter if it's my fault or yours. The fact is, with the way things have played out, Turning will be hurt by this. By both my actions and yours. I am willing to admit what I have done will irrevocably hurt Turning. That will haunt me for years to come. But you being banished won't help him either. It'll weigh on his mind for all his years to come too. All we can do now is let Turning show everyone that despite what he did, he's not a bad pony. That he's willing to confess, to accept whatever punishment must come. At least that way, against the stigma of public perception, he'll stand out as some pony who's willing to take responsibility for his actions. As some pony who faces and owns his mistakes, instead of running from them.
Faces and owns his mistakes.
Take note, Private Eye. Turning Page is willing to be a bigger man than you are.
I know you all have been trying to protect him. You may even think you're obligated to. But it wouldn't be right in the end. Justice doesn't come from accepting a comfortable lie. It comes from accepting the truth, pursuing it, and setting it free.
Diva. Sugar Stamp? It's time. We tried our best.
Anyone else
Everything is
notice
right.
that this
We can't
pony
back
over
away
here
from
is
this
like
anymore.
blurry on
You
their
can't
left
be
face, side of the
serious.
face?
She's right, Mr. Votion.
Same thing with Lara too, what the heck?
What? Private Eye, you too?
I understand what you did.
Nitpick, sorry.
What you had us do. It was all in order to protect your son from the truth. But I do not think that this is what Royal Order would have wanted for his family.
Yeah, this is a broken ass family, dude.
Look at your son.
Now back to me. I'm sorry, this is a serious moment.
He knows that
And
this
I'm
is the
cracking
right thing
jokes.
to do. And
I'm a
it
terrible
is.
person.
Enough lives have been woven. Enough pain. Enough grief. To last a lifetime.
Let's not add to them, Diva. Let's stop hurting ourselves once and for all. For Royal Order and for Turning Page.
Mom?
Turning?
It's okay. I knew since that night that this was bound to happen. And I'm okay with that. I'm not afraid. Thank you for trying to protect me. But it's time that you come clean now. It's time to face the truth.
She doesn't want to face it, but she knows she has to. There it is.
Oh, Goddesses, save me. I just wanted to protect my son. And I failed. I failed. Royal, how can you ever forgive me?
Turning?
Dad, what are you doing here?
We were looking for you. Are you alright? Are you hurt?
Yeah, I'm fine. What were you and Mom arguing about?
You heard that? Well, never you mind. Turning, what exactly are you doing in the Everfree Forest this hour? Your mother and I were so worried.
Sorry, Dad. But it's kind of a long story. You see, a very good friend of mine got into some trouble with these two fillies, Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon.
Trouble? What kind of trouble?
They'd stolen some of her stuff, and they were blackmailing her so that she'd get them something they wanted in exchange. They arranged to meet in the forest by the castle ruins to conduct the exchange. My friend came to me for help, and I agreed. So, I went with her to make sure that she didn't get hurt, and to make sure the deal went smoothly.
You came out here without an adult?
Well, yeah. I couldn't just let her go off on her own. Besides, I wanted to teach those blackmailers a lesson.
A lesson?
Right. A lesson. It's like you've always taught me. Evildoers beware, or taste the might of my sword! I'd say those fillies got a good taste of it, alright.
Your sword. It's broken.
Yeah. I guess I swung it a little too hard. Oh well. Nothing that a bit of duct tape won't fix.
He could have seriously hurt some pony. And if he wasn't careful with his swing, he might have hurt his friend or even himself.
Oh, I can see where this is going.
This must be what Fair meant. His reckless behavior at home. Is it really all my fault? Have I led him that far astray? I'm afraid I still don't quite fully understand, Turning. You still came out to a dangerous forest armed with nothing but that wooden sword.
Yeah? And?
What if you'd gotten attacked by something, like a wild animal? Or worse, what if your friend had?
Come on, Dad. That's why I went with her in the first place. Besides, I'm pretty sure I can take on any creature in this forest. Your training has definitely proven that. Hi-ya! If nothing else, it would have proven a great way to
I was worried
test
that
my
little
skills.
Hiya was going to be like the killing blow.
Maybe you could teach me a few new strikes that only a royal guard would know.
Bro.
My training. Stars above. Fair was right. This is my fault. How do I even begin to confront this issue? Turning.
You know what's kind of a shame here? Like, you don't know, like, so we're as the audience, we're hearing what Royal Order is thinking, but Turning Page and everyone else in that courtroom, they don't know what's going through his head. And you could probably say the same thing about like real life trials too. Like, you don't know what was going through a victim's head or what they truly said in some of these cases. You know, it's kind of, it's kind of like a daunting thing to think about, and like it's something that I ponder, like what were like the events leading up to some of these events, like what was going through the victim's head, like what were the events that led up to what happening, and like what was going through everyone's minds. And like at least in like from a fictional story we can see what everyone's thinking, but like everyone else in that courtroom in this fictional story here, they don't know what was going through Royal Order's head. He's like, God, I led my son down a path that I should not have let him down. Wow.
We need to talk about that, actually. Your training.
Oh. Okay. What about it?
It's just, maybe we should, you know, ease up on it for a bit.
Ease up?
Right. It's just, well, I know you're still enthusiastic about joining the Royal Guard, but maybe now isn't the best time.
What? What do you mean?
Look, son, there's a lot going on in the world right now. Crazy stuff. Dangerous stuff. Even with your training, I'm just concerned about your safety. That's all. And your mother.
There's nothing wrong with ambition, but like
we think it
too
might
much
be
ambition
better
can
if
get
you
you like
focus on something less risky. For the
too much
time
ambition
being,
can be
of course.
bad.
Though that would mean you would have to attend school.
School's important.
I understand.
How
that
dare I
school is a
go
bit
get
of
an
a sore
education?
topic for you, but you do have to attend.
But what about joining the Royal Guard?
I'm not saying you can't, just that you should wait. Learn some patience. Be a little less reckless with yourself. Show some forethought. That sort of thing.
Are you saying
Sure,
I'm
those are
not
qualities
ready?
for the Royal Guard too. Not
No,
now, at
Turning
least.
Page. You aren't. Not by a long shot.
You should have said like at least not yet. That's a lot more
Can you say that?
damning. Granted,
I'm
I
more
shouldn't
than
be
ready to
victim
join.
blaming.
I saved ponies and hurt those who want to do bad things, like Damian Tiara and Silver Spoon. And
But that's my point, Turning Page. You hurt them, yes. But don't you know what that resulted in? Spoiled rich demanding we pay for the damages you wrought. Had you not been so reckless as to attack those fillies...
But they deserved it!
That's not for either of us to say, Turning. And even if they did, attacking them has only landed us in a truly dire situation. You can't be this reckless. Not if you want to join the Royal Guard, and certainly not for the rest of your life.
He's right, though.
That's why I think it would be best if you do start attending school. If nothing else, perhaps the social interaction will teach you how to keep a cool head.
What? But what about our sparring sessions? Does this mean we can't have them anymore?
I'm afraid not. My job in Canterlot is about to be even more demanding of my time. I probably won't be able to come home all that often, much to your mother's disappointment.
Your job? But why? How does working in some stuffy place like Canterlot lead to more work for you?
I'm sorry, Turning. I can't tell you that. I know this comes as a great shock to you, son. But if you simply listen to your mother and start attending school, everything will play out just fine. I promise. Turning? Are you all right?
Ooh.
Huh? What the? Dad?
Whoa.
This has left me truly speechless.
This is a grave turn of events, Your Honor. I expect many of us are at a loss for words.
Turning, you must have been in complete shock afterwards.
I was. It just happened so fast.
Blind by fury.
My eyes. I thought he would somehow be fine.
It was the poison joke. He'd gotten infected while looking around Froggy Bottom Bog, and it took effect by the time you had confronted him.
You weakened him.
Once I'd recovered enough, I levitated him down from the spike to see if I could help him. But he just kept gushing blood. Everywhere. The statue, the ground, it was all covered. I wanted to scream. But
why do I have to hear more of this, dude?
Wouldn't come out.
And that was when I came rushing back.
Why do I have
Honestly,
to keep hearing more of
I'm
this?
impressed you managed
We get
to
it.
piece together
He
so
killed his son.
thoroughly
Yeah,
in the
can we just move
sights.
on?
I
My
did
heart can
run
take
off
this.
after Royal Order and I fought. And I did come back afterwards.
I'm guessing it was the clang that got you to turn back?
That's right. The clang that came from turning hitting his father with his sword. What the? Turning page? What happened here?
Mom! It was an accident. I swear. I just got so angry and...
Royal? Hang on, honey, just... Oh no. Oh no.
Mom? Is there anything we can do?
No, he's already gone.
No! I'll do it.
You'll... what?
Turn myself in.
He wanted to turn
my
himself
fault,
in. Oh my
after
gosh.
all. And it's the right thing to do.
No!
He wanted to do the right thing from the
Please,
beginning.
just listen to me. I'm so grateful you're live, Turning. I was worried that, well, you can't turn yourself in.
But Mom...
Even if this was an accident, the police won't care. They'll treat it like a murder. And you know what happens to murderers. They're banished from Equestria no matter who they are. Royal wouldn't want that. He wanted you to become a member of the Royal Guard one day. Not throw it all away because of some accident. Please, Turning,
My heart is racing right now, bro.
I can't bear to lose you too.
But Mom... I did this.
You wanted to be honest from the beginning.
No, Turning. After all, you didn't do this.
Huh?
It was the result of an attack by some of the forest creatures. That's what happened here. Nothing else. And here's how we'll make it so.
Hold up a second, Miss Devotion. Before you continue, I'd like to ask Sugar Stamp something. Sugar Stamp, the one thing you've been consistent on throughout this trial was that you saw the murder happen with your own eyes. Given what we know now, could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I was in the forest that night delivering a letter to Zecora. I meant to fly to her hut right away, but I heard a clang from somewhere in the woods. When I went to investigate, I saw Turning remove his father's body from the statue. I didn't understand what had happened. Not yet. But just as I was about to fly down and ask, that's when Diva showed up.
But you didn't leave?
No, even though I thought I should. But I couldn't leave them. Turning looked so scared, and Diva, she looked so broken. I didn't want to interfere with whatever conversation they were having, but I figured I could just watch.
And that must be when you overheard the witness's plan.
Yeah, it's just as Fair had claimed before, but this time, Turning was the one complicit with it.
I didn't want to go through with it, to be honest. But seeing Mom so upset, and remembering what my dad said to me before he...
If you simply listen to your mother, everything will play out just fine. I promise.
Right, he did say that.
I decided that I couldn't refuse. So...
That's a
as you
tricky
told
one,
me.
yeah.
The first thing I did was move Dad's body from the statue over to the crossroads, leaving the armor behind. Mom followed next to me,
While he did that, I kept watch, flying from tree to tree. The body, it kept leaking blood everywhere, leaving a trail behind them.
We would have continued, but that was when we heard another clang, coming from the statue.
The second clang. The one that Sweetie Belle made in order to scare off the Timberwolves.
After we heard that, I told Turning to continue to Froggy Bottom Bog, then rushed back to the statue, afraid some pony had discovered the scene. When I got to the statue, though, no pony was there. Only the armor and blood were.
I see. And that's when you must have moved the blood as well as the armor further into the forest, to the clearing.
All in order to suggest the Timberwolves had attacked Royal Order and eaten his body.
While Mom was doing that, though, I stopped at the crossroads. I was starting to have second thoughts. I know Dad said I should listen to Mom. But still, lying? It felt horrible. But before I could come to a decision, I heard some pony coming. And that
was when Scootaloo crashed into you.
Yeah. It took everything I had in me to avoid screaming. But I realized soon after who had hit me. I tried to call out to her, but she was already running away. So I ran after her instead.
He'd left the body behind, and that was when I decided to try and help out. I flew down to the scene to grab the body and move the scooter.
Move the scooter?
Yeah, I didn't want Scootaloo to be blamed for Royal's death. So I figured if I could move it, then deliver it to her later, she'd be fine.
Huh? You mean you didn't plant the scooter at the castle ruins?
No, I lied about that too. And in actuality, I didn't even get to grab the body before I heard some pony coming, and I had to hide in the trees again.
Then who brought it there? Who made it so that Scootaloo ended up being blamed for Royal's death?
That was me, Princess Twilight.
What?
Whoa.
Turning? How could you?
Whoa.
It was an accident. You see, I tried to run after Scootaloo, but lost her. So, I came running back to the body. Once I saw the scooter again, I had made up my mind about what I would do. I didn't want to follow Mom's orders.
Hold on a sec. Oh, whoops. Hold on a second. I think I just accidentally clicked rewind. I meant to pause. I think I fast forwarded.
But
okay, so once I saw the suit again, I hadn't made up my mind about what I would do. Buddy, you just completely tarnished your entire relationship with Scootaloo. God in heaven.
Mind about what I would do. I didn't want to follow Mom's orders. But I also didn't want to confess immediately. Instead, I tried to frame Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon for the crime.
Frame them? Why?
Because this was all their fault! If they hadn't bullied and blackmailed the Cutie Mark Crusaders, none of this would have happened!
I mean...
More than that, though, there was still the problem of Diamond's mother, spoiled rich. She wanted us to pay for those dumb dresses. I figured if I could get Diamond blamed for the murder, then maybe Mom and I could leverage the truth to get spoiled rich to back off. If she did, then I confess, Diamond Tiara would be acquitted, and Mom wouldn't have to pay back a single bit.
I'm not sure about that last part, though.
Anyway, and it would have involved teleporting myself to the castle ruins with a body. But I accidentally teleported the scooter and wagon with me too.
Of course, because anything that is in contact with the subject of teleportation will get teleported as well.
Sugar Stamp, did you see that happen?
I did, but I didn't know where he teleported to, so I couldn't help out in any other way. At that point, I decided I'd just go and deliver Zecora's letter, and maybe talk to Diva later about everything I'd seen.
What happened after you teleported, Turning Page?
Well, I wanted to remove the scooter and wagon from the scene. But I had to rest for a second before I could teleport again. That was when I heard some pony coming up the stairs from the gorge.
Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon.
Silver Spoon was already chasing after Scootaloo and you at that point.
Yep. I couldn't teleport again, so I chose to hide in the trees while she went to check the body. Not long after, Sakura showed up, making Diamond hide too. At that point, I realized it'd be pointless to try and remove the scooter and wagon. Both Sakura and Diamond had seen them, so I figured that I could try and meet up with my mother back at the statue, and then tell her about what I did.
Turning no. You can't still insist on turning yourself in at the end of this.
But what choice do we have, Mom? If I don't, some pony innocent will end up being accused. And it doesn't matter if that's either Diamond Tiara or Scootaloo.
But we can still make it look like an accident.
It's too late for that. 2 ponies have already seen the body and the scooter and wagon. Some pony will be blamed for what happened to Dad. The least we can do is ensure that it's me in the end. Because I killed him. The only thing I'm waiting on now is if Diamond Tiara still ends up getting accused.
We'll discuss this later, Turning Page. For now, go home and wait for me to return.
So you were talking about all of this while at the statue, correct?
That's right.
Then that means this was what you heard while you were behind the statue, right, Sweetie Belle?
Yeah. When I heard Turning say he killed his dad, I thought I could use that to help Scootaloo. I thought he'd confess immediately to save her.
But you didn't, Turning Page?
No. Maybe I should have.
Oh, you think?
But I was still holding out hope that Diamond Tiara would be accused at some point. By the time the trial began, though, I realized that wasn't about to happen.
Well, we learned.
And because of that, I was fully prepared to confess to the crime.
Then, when that happened...
Thank you for fighting so hard for us, Miss Sykes. But this is honestly for the best.
You were prepared to throw your chance of freedom away just to save Scootaloo?
Yeah. But it didn't matter. After all, you managed to get the both of us acquitted without needing me to confess. I might have been okay with that, but then Sweetie Belle was accused. Another innocent pony was about to take the blame for what I did. I couldn't let that happen again. But after the trial, Mom told me that confessing was out of the question. Sure, it'd save Sweetie Belle, but Scootaloo's innocence might be questioned by other ponies. I couldn't put her through that. And by then, Miss Stamp had already gotten involved as a suspect. Mom told me about double jeopardy, and how admitting my guilt would do nothing but hurt Miss Stamp, who only wanted to save Sweetie and me. I couldn't do that. Not to some pony our family loves so much, and some pony that's been hurt a lot already. Confessing would make her efforts wasted, and knowing that, along with what Scootaloo might have to go through, left me feeling trapped. I didn't know what to do. No matter if I confessed or not, someone would be hurt. All I could do was just follow along with Mom's plan, and hope everyone would be happy by the end.
But Sugar Stamp's role as a suspect, that was orchestrated by you, Fair Devotion.
Correct, Miss Sykes. Truthfully, I hadn't planned on getting Sugar involved, but that day, when Turning was arrested... Sugar Stamp? What are you doing here?
Hi, Diva. I just wanted to check up on you and Turning Page.
Oh. Well, thank you. But you're too late. Turning's already been arrested.
Yeah, I heard. Fair, I want you to know I saw it.
Huh?
Please don't play dumb with me. We've been friends too long. I saw it, Fair. I saw what happened that night. I saw Turning kill his father. Don't worry, I don't plan on telling any pony, but I wanted to know if there was anything I could do to help out. Help out? I mean, I don't know, Sugar. I'm not sure how you could. I've been racking my brain for a way to get Turning out of this mess. But the only thing I can think of is if I somehow were to take the fall. But if I did that, who'd be able to take care of him? Would you? I don't know, Diva. I don't want to take Turning away from you. Then, I guess... Well, hang on. What if instead of you taking the fall, I did instead? What? You want to take the blame for killing Royal Order? I couldn't allow that, Sugar. But please, Diva, think about Turning in yourself. If that happened, you both would be safe and happy. And if you two were happy, then I could be too. Even if I would have to be banished from Equestria. Sugar Stamp. So it was decided.
That's some friendship right there, man.
Between the two of us, we'd make it so that Sugar Stamp would appear to be the true culprit all along. There were a number of steps we had to take to accomplish that, though. The first was acquiring a motive for Sugar Stamp. After some thinking, I had her return to Canterlot to write a fake love letter to Royal Order. She'd keep it in her home, as well as stay in Canterlot until further notice. The next day, I went to the trial to see how things played out for Turning and Scootaloo. I also wanted to learn any more details about the murder, anything that could make Sugar Stamp being the culprit more believable. Even so, I couldn't have anticipated the clone theory you and Princess Twilight presented, Miss Sykes. It was perfect. It cleared Turning of any suspicion. But there was just one problem.
That being, that now there were two murders to account for.
Exactly. I realized that for my plan to still work, I'd have to take the blame for one of them. For that to happen, however, I needed help. Private?
Yes. I suppose this is where I should explain my own role in this whole affair. Miss Devotion! How fortunate to have run into you. I must express my immense relief to see that Turning's been acquitted. You must be equally relieved.
Not quite, Detective Eye.
Please, private is fine. But why not?
What I'm about to tell you doesn't leave the two of us. Can you promise me that?
Promise? Very well. I promise I won't tell another soul.
Good. The truth is, there aren't any clones involved. There's only one death, and that's Royal Order's. And the pony who killed him was Turning Page.
What? If it is as you say, that Turning is guilty, and that it was an accident, we need to do something about that. Now! The warrant for Sweetie Belle's arrest will no doubt soon be issued. We can still stop it, if we move quick enough.
What? Why would there be a warrant for Sweetie Belle?
Because it was her blood found at the statue, along with Royal Order's. She was the other pony there on the night of the murder.
Then that means...
Miss Devotion, please. There's no way either of us can let that happen.
But to stop that, surely you don't mean I should give up my son for Sweetie's freedom?
Well, I mean...
Do you really want him to be ostracized from the rest of Equestria for what he did?
No, of course not. Turning Page is the son of my friend. But the truth is the truth, isn't it? And I can't stand idly by and let some pony innocent be blamed.
I have a few ideas. My friend Sugar Stamp and I are willing to take the fall for both deaths, but I need you to cooperate with me. We can make it look like one of the fake murders was the result of a lover's quarrel. That'll absolve Sweetie, Turning, and every pony else involved.
I'm not sure.
Please, Private. This will help Turning, and it won't hurt any pony who isn't willing to face the consequences. Don't you think this is what Royal would have wanted?
It would not have been what he would have wanted.
Once he was on my side, I told him what I needed him to do. I'm sure you can figure out the rest, Miss Sykes.
You would have asked him to fabricate evidence to implicate Sugar Stamp for one of the faux murders. The one that supposedly happened at the clearing. More than that, you would have wanted evidence to show that the victim had been wearing armor prior to his death, in order to explain the clangs.
Yes. And finally, I needed him to create evidence of Royal going to the mirror pool to clone himself in the first place.
After Miss Devotion told me her plan, I immediately set about completing what I was assigned. I sealed off the forest, forged the evidence, and met with Sugar Stamp in Canterlot to fill her in.
He performed marvelously, to the point where I thought my plan would work. But there was still one more wrinkle left to iron. The anonymous tip. I had to stop whoever had written it from talking, since it appeared they knew what had happened that night. I didn't know who it could be until I learned that Sweetie Belle had been at the statue that night. That meant she was the sender. And furthermore, she must have heard the conversation between Turning and me. Realizing that, I went to the detention center to see if I could change her mind.
Change her mind? Sweetie Belle, what does she mean?
Right. So, we talked. And we agreed that we wouldn't reveal each other's secrets, so long as the two of us kept quiet.
And that was that. Everything was in place. Sugar and I would testify in a manner that would end with Miss Sykes accusing me of the murder. But that wasn't what ended up happening in the slightest.
Yeah.
Somehow, everything fell apart.
What's going through your head, Sykes?
I just don't understand how. Miss Sykes. Athena. I should have been able to fool you. I fooled Private Eye, Princess Luna, but not you. How? How did you see past the lie?
The power of psychology,
Because your
bitch.
emotions told me the truth, Miss Devotion.
My emotions?
For how strongly the evidence pointed towards you, your emotions still gave you away. You couldn't hide them, no matter how much you might have wanted to.
I see. I have just one more question, Athena, if you would permit me to ask it.
Go ahead, Miss Devotion.
After everything you've heard, everything you've uncovered, can you honestly say this was worth it all?
Tough question.
I found the truth, Miss Devotion. That's worth everything, I should think.
I know that, and I agree. But what I mean is, if you had simply gone along with how I wanted things to progress, wouldn't things have ended better for all of us? You've torn through so much evidence and testimony, I'll grant you that. But what were you able to save? What made this worth the cost?
What made this worth the cost, indeed?
Four, five, 6 ponies' lives have just been, like, flipped upside down.
This case has reminded me of a rather poignant saying from our world. Perhaps you all may have heard of it yourselves. Oh, what a tangled web we weave, when first we practice to deceive.
Oh, I know
There's
that
another
one.
saying to that point, Your Honor. The best laid plans of mice and mares often go awry.
Indeed they
Classic
do.
literary pieces.
Perhaps we should include cases such as these in that saying. What began, despite my reservations, as a clear-cut murder, turned into a complicated display of intrigue and deception. Those we thought guilty were innocent. Those innocent, guilty. In any case, I think we can all agree that this trial has come to an end. For better or worse, we now know the full extent of what happened that night. As such, I feel I can now hand down a verdict for the defendant, Sweetie Belle. It has been proven that she played no role in Royal
As I
Order's
mentioned
death.
earlier, I forgot that
Any
she was the prime
objections?
defendant in this
No,
case.
Your Honor.
None.
Very well. I hereby find the defendant, Sweetie Belle.
I was expecting like an objection or a hold it to pop up. Not guilty, but at what cost?
Before we adjourn, though, I have an additional request for the prosecution.
Yes, Your Honor?
The 3 ponies who participated in this cover-up, Miss Fair Devotion, Mr. Private Eye, and Miss Sugarstamp. Please see to it that they are taken away to be tried at later dates for their crimes.
Understood. It will be done.
No! Wait! This isn't fair! Every pony else is being punished for something that I did! Can I give up my double jeopardy thing in exchange for letting them all go?
It doesn't work like that, dude.
I'm sorry, but no. Double jeopardy is absolute. You cannot be charged and convicted for that crime after having been previously acquitted. No exceptions.
But that naturally does not apply to other crimes committed.
What do you mean?
Don't start to lag behind after leading us towards this conclusion, defense. Not only did Turning Page move the body, thereby tampering with the crime scene, but he has lied several times regarding his movements that night.
That's true.
I think I see where this is going.
So
it's a
while Your
different kind
Honor
of,
is correct in reminding Turning Page of his immunity concerning his father's death, the same cannot be said in relation to his other crimes.
Yep.
No, you can't! I won't let him go to prison after all this!
Calm yourself, Miss Devotion. I do not intend to lock Turning Page up and throw away the key. So again, calm yourself. I have a solution that will please every pony.
You do?
What solution?
I propose this. That Turning Page, as punishment for the crimes he could be charged with,
he's going to
be
school.
enrolled in a boarding school for youths wishing to serve the crown.
You mean like military school?
Best of both worlds
In
for him, really.
Yes.
He
I
has to go
believe
to
this
school
will not
and
only teach him
be part of the
proper
Royal Guard.
discipline,
Boom.
but the temperament needed in order to become a Royal Guard of great esteem. I also hope that this ensures a tragedy of this caliber never occurs again. Well, does this satisfy all present?
I think
This
it does.
sounds fine by me, Prosecutor Luna.
It's more than fair. It sounds
Same
like
here.
an opportunity
the
for
defense
him,
has
really.
no objections.
Agreed.
He's going to...
Okay, Princess Luna.
Again, Mom said he wanted to go to school, and Dad was willing to have him be part of the Royal Guard. Dude, it's a perfect sandwich right there. How come? Maybe Mom should have just suggested that, like, or maybe Dad's like, if you want him to go to school, and I want him to be part of the Royal Guard, how about we just enroll him in military school? That could have solved. That could have like halted everything.
I'll accept this as my punishment. It's okay, Mom. I'll work hard. I promise. I'll study as much as I can, so I can be a Royal Guard Dad would be proud of. So I can be one you'll be proud of.
Turning.
I'm really going to miss you, Mom.
I'm going to miss you more, Turning. You know, it's so typical, isn't it? That right when you'll start going to school, we won't even be together.
Mom?
Yes, Turning?
I want you to have this.
That's...
You had that back then, didn't you? What is it?
It's a gift from a really important friend of mine. She gave it to me to make sure that no matter what happens, I stay strong. So I want you to have it now.
But Turning, you're the one that needs that.
Mom, please. It's also supposed to represent the courage one has to do something for some pony they care about. And you did so much just to protect me. Even though I caused so much trouble for you. You've earned this.
Thank you, Turning. Oh, Turning. If only there was a way some pony could watch over you. I'm sorry, Diva. I wish I could. I really do. It's okay, Sugar Stamp. I couldn't possibly ask any more of you after all that's happened. If any pony were to do it, you'd be the one, though.
Sorry to interrupt, Miss Devotion. My lord, I would like to make a request, if I may.
You may. What is it, Private Eye?
I'd like to personally see to it that Sugar Stamp is made Turning Page's legal guardian, for the time being. Her crime was merely perjury, you see. Is this all right?
Yeah, noble sentiment, Private Eye. But I'm afraid it's not a sentiment you can back up with noble action.
Prosecutor Luna? What do you...
You know precisely what I mean, Twilight Sparkle. Private Eye may not even have the authority to make such an arrangement, given his involvement in this case.
I take it you mean my career may be over for good, don't you?
I cannot say for certain. There is certainly a chance, however.
That sounds about right, yes. I understand.
Princess Luna, please can't you show Private Eye some leniency? He was being manipulated after all. Yes, he made it look as if Sugar Stamp was responsible, but he did so under my orders. And Sugar Stamp was in on the whole thing. She knew the consequences.
Yes, you all knew the consequences to your actions. That, however, does not absolve any of you. Your fates will be decided at a later date.
Death!
But...
It's all right, Fair.
Private!
Princess Luna is correct. I knew what I was getting myself into. And while I apologize for what I did, there's one thing I do not regret. Protecting Turning Page. That obviously doesn't help my situation. But I'd like that to be made clear. I stand by attempting to save him. Even if things went down a path that Royal Order wouldn't have approved of. His kindness to me is something that can't be repaid. But I can only hope that this, at least, prove to him that I will always be there for those he loved. I promise you this. One way or another, Sugar Stamp will take custody of Turning Page. Until the day you two are able to see each other again.
And how do you intend on going through with this promise? If you end up with no authority, no position?
I know it is a long shot, Princess Luna, but I have faith there will be a way for it to happen. If not by my hooves, then some pony else's.
Twilight's, Luna's, Celestia's, Cadence.
Thank you, Mr. Private Eye.
You're more than welcome, Turning Page. A tear, Fair? No, don't cry. Not for me. I am least deserving of your tears.
After all you've done, you and Sugar Stamp both. And now with Sugar Stamp to take care of Turning.
I'll do my best, Diva. I need it. I know I never got to be a great mother like you, but I'll always be there for him.
Thank you.
That's assuming like you get like the minimum sentence for perjury.
I don't even know what to say. Just thank you.
I I do believe, then, that should wrap up everything in this case. Will any further arrangements be required?
If I may, Your Honor, I'd like to have a few final words with my son.
Of course, Miss Devotion.
So, I guess this is it, Turning?
Yeah. I guess so.
He's beautiful.
As beautiful as you.
Oh, shush.
He's lucky, you know, to have such a wonderful mare for his mother.
Are you sure about this, Royal? It feels like only yesterday he even started walking. I mean...
Oh, come on, he's old enough. Right, son?
Yeah, I'm a big coat now.
It's... it's almost funny, and yet also so sad. I didn't realize it until now, but... You've grown up, Turning. You've grown up so fast. And look at who you've become. Out of everything that I could have ever imagined, ever thought, ever believed, I could not have dreamed that you would turn out to be such a good pony. I wonder, where did you get that from?
You've gotten pretty good, Turning.
I have a great teacher, you see. But one day, I'll be more than your student. I'll be your partner.
Oh?
I'll be a member of the Royal Guard in no time, Dad. I'll get to work alongside you.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, you are reckless at times, but I know you have a good, pure heart. You are loyal to what you believe in and are willing to do anything you can to protect the ponies you care about, at any cost. Turning Page, you are the best parts of us, of Royal Order, of myself, all rolled up in one amazing pony. I am so proud of you, beyond what even words could allow.
No training for a little while, Turning. Duty calls.
Aw, again, Dad?
Don't worry. We understand, Royal. Just be safe.
How about this, Turning? While I'm away, I've got a special assignment for you. A Royal Guard in training.
What is it?
Protect Mama.
Make sure your mom is safe, okay?
Called it.
Mom's looked after you all your life. Maybe it's time to show her how much that meant to you.
Sure thing, Dad. You can count on me. Don't worry, Mom. Dad might be gone, but you've still got me. Everything will be fine.
But it wasn't.
And if your father were here, I know he'd say the same. That he is proud of you, Turning Page. So, so proud.
God in
Mom.
heaven.
I love you, sweetheart. Please, whatever happens next, never forget that.
I won't. I promise. I love you too, Mom.
Then, I guess all that's left is...
Yeah, I know. Goodbye, Mom.
Goodbye, my son.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord.
Court is now adjourned.
Oh, thank God, it's over. Oh Lord. Oh, there's more though, still. Good God in heaven.
So, that's that then. It's over. Finally. Everything's come to light. Everything's been revealed.
I'm going to be footing my therapy bills to
And yet...
everyone at Elements of Justice. Yeah, it's a victory. Yeah, I was
just feels so
read my
hollow.
mind. Yeah.
Well then, I suppose congratulations are in order.
I suppose.
Great job, Athena.
Yeah, yay.
You managed to save Sweetie Belle. I knew you had it in you.
It's so forced.
Yeah, Thanks, Twilight. I should feel happy.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it. I saved Sweetie Belle like I said I would, but I can't feel happy. Not with how everything turned out.
Yeah, it's just...
What Fair Devotion said at the end, about this being worth the cost, I wish I had a better answer to give. Or any answer, really.
So, what are you going to do now?
I'm going to go to Disneyland.
Huh? What do you mean, Apollo?
Athena, you're not going to leave things like this, are you? I mean, a lot of people were hurt by this. Are still hurting.
What else are you supposed to do? I mean, you're not wrong,
Hello? It's true that Athena did unearth a lot of pain throughout this case. But she did her job to the best of her abilities.
Yeah.
More than that, she found the truth. That's all a lawyer can really hope for.
But the fallout, the collateral damage.
The
There's
emotional
always
damage.
fallout to finding the truth. It's not comforting, I'll admit. But
Yeah.
even so, a lawyer's duty is to the truth, to finding it, to saving it. Like an old friend of mine said, the exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it.
Did Mia or Maya say that? I'm trying to remember.
Apollo, you don't think Athena should have accepted Turning's confession during the first trial, do you?
Apollo?
Look, it's just... I can't help but wonder how things would have turned out if you had played your hand a bit differently. That's all I'm saying.
But if she had done that, she wouldn't have found the whole truth.
Lawyers aren't superheroes, Sonata. I get that finding the truth is part of the job, but it's not the whole job itself. Defending our clients, that's what defense attorneys do, remember?
How can you even say that, Polly?
I have mixed feelings about Apollo. Like, he's not wrong, but at the same time...
If you were in my place, wouldn't you have done the same as me? Fight for the truth no matter how much pain it caused, no matter how much it took?
Yeah, I probably would have, admittedly.
There we go.
Then...
But even so, now I've seen what revealing the truth can do to people. The families it can tear apart, the lives it can ruin. Our actions, even the best intended ones, have consequences.
I sorta get what you're saying, but...
Athena, trust me. I know better than any that the truth always trumps loyalty. But we have a duty to our clients, a bond with them. And abandoning that duty, shattering that bond in pursuit of the truth, it doesn't strike me as something a lawyer should do.
What are you trying to say, Apollo?
Rarity, Sweetie Belle. Hello, everybody.
Cannot wait for him to take the reins on the next case and have him get humbled.
How are you feeling, Sweetie Belle?
Uh-oh, here we go.
Scoots? What's the matter with you? What were you thinking sending that stupid shit to the police? Look at what you've done!
Scootaloo! Wait a second!
I was just trying to save you, Scootaloo! Me? Oh yeah! Thanks for that!
Yo,
It's not like that
the
tip
DA.
didn't even help me in the slightest! All it did was ruin Turning's life for good! You've taken him away from his mom! He would have turned himself in regardless of what I did!
Then maybe you shouldn't have tried to do anything in the first place!
Scootaloo, darling, please. I know you're upset, but Sweetie Belle really did want to help you. Besides, in the end, she did do the right thing. She told us all what happened.
Yeah? But she only did that after she realized she couldn't keep lying anymore. If Sweetie Belle really had cared for Scootaloo, she would have told the cops what she did and what she heard before Scootaloo was put on trial.
Surely, you have not missed the fact that had she done that, she would have been arrested with both Scootaloo and Turning!
What difference does that make? She got arrested anyway!
This is all your fault, Sweetie Belle! If you hadn't started meddling in everything... My fault? If any pony's to blame for this, it's you and your cult friend for listening to the blackmail letter! Why were that scooter and wagon so important to you? You know exactly why! Girls, please! Just calm down, alright? We shouldn't be fighting! Not here, not now!
Apple Bloom's right, y'all. We really shouldn't be fussing up the place.
Really, darling? Would it kill you to take a side for once?
I'm on your side, Rarity. And on Rainbow.
She's just trying to be the level-headed one here.
We all are. But what good is all this fighting, huh?
Maybe if you actually fought for Scootaloo, AJ, you'd understand.
This is what I mean, Athena.
Oh, shut up.
You see what happens when you present the truth without taking into account how you present it? Or how it might hurt those around you?
Oh, darn it all. I'm sorry, everyone. I tried, but they just won't listen to reason.
It's all right, Applejack. You did your best.
Maybe Fluttershy can talk to them separately later? She seems like the kind of pony who'd be good at that.
Sure?
Actually, wait a second. Where is Fluttershy?
Well, that's
yeah, where
a
is
good
she?
question, Twi. I'm
Pretty
not
much
sure.
everyone else is here except for Fluttershy and
That's
Pinkie.
odd. I could have sworn I saw her earlier in the trial.
She was in the gallery,
But now she's
right?
gone?
Yeah.
Looks to be the case, don't it?
I will bet $1,000,000 she gets wrapped up in for the third case. She's going to get somehow. She's going to be getting the silver bracelets.
Sis?
What's going on, Applejack? You guys have been acting weird for the last couple of days. Where have you two been, by the way? You disappeared right after the trial, Fluttershy. And Pinkie, we haven't seen you since yesterday. And you both look exhausted, which is saying a lot for you, Pinkie.
You think?
I don't remember this.
You know how it is, Twi. Every pony's busy these days.
I honestly don't remember the scene.
That
Was this
doesn't
from
answer my
the previous
question,
episode?
though.
Why is AJ and
Is
Pinkie being
everything
the
all
little
right?
suspect? Fluttershy is not nowhere to be found.
More secrets? Your friends sit atop quite the trove of them, it would seem, Princess Twilight.
Oh, that chick from
Lockkeeper Equity? What are you doing here?
I thought I might find the winning lawyer in this lobby. It appears I was right. Miss Sykes, you have my congratulations for such a hard-fought victory.
Thank you, Lockkeeper Equity.
They say that victory tends to bask oneself in a strange, surreal glow. Yet I sense no such thing emanating from you, Miss Sykes. Was the result not to your satisfaction?
let's not
It's
talk about
just-
it.
I'm wondering if what I did was the right thing in the end.
It absolutely was. No matter what any pony else says about so-called consequences.
Eat your heart out, Apollo.
Would you rather the truth remain in hiding, that it sulk in the oppressive shade of inopportune time, waiting for the right moment to appear? That
Such
is
proverbs.
a dangerous sentiment bordering on naivete, and cowardice too. For by keeping the truth locked away out of fear of what it could bring, You declare to the world that you don't believe in it at all. An unbelieved truth can
base
hurt
department?
a pony much more than a lie. It takes great courage to back truth unacceptable to our times. But once it is revealed, we all benefit from it. For we see things for how they are, not how we want them to be.
What are you talking about?
What you talking about, Willis?
Is it not obvious? Look to your friends, to the young fillies squabbling.
Are they still arguing? They still are.
Though it was painful, now that those two know the truth, they're able to see each other for who they truly are, their true natures. And the truth helps us see what was hidden from us, as well the habits and behaviors we chalk up to mere idiosyncrasies.
That's a good word.
They are just a pony's mask, which the truth burns away, revealing the true feelings and intentions hidden beneath. Wouldn't you agree, Princess Twilight?
What? Me?
Your friends have been keeping their own secrets. It is not a mere quirk of their character. It is a deliberate act.
Oh.
They are purposefully keeping you in the dark about their activities. Does that not strike you as strange? Does that not strike you as concerning?
I wouldn't call it concerning, but like, someone
Even if
knows.
I admit that it's a little weird they aren't exactly telling me what's up, I still trust them. I know who they are, and I know they must have a good reason for what they're doing.
There you are again with your blind trust. Let's put that trust to the test, shall we?
Oh? For real?
What?
This would have been kept a secret for the time being, but I believe you all would find this information quite relevant. It concerns the matter of a Mr. Overall Concept's death.
From the previous caves?
His death? What about it?
The investigation, thanks to a new lead detective, has determined a new suspect involved in his murder.
Wait a minute. He wasn't murdered. He committed suicide.
So you would like to believe, but that must mean that you, quite simply, were wrong, Mr. Wright.
Dude, I'm getting goosebumps. What the heck?
I was there during the entire trial. Daddy proves that Overall Concept killed himself.
Speaking of naivete, do you believe your father to be infallible, miss?
It's not like that. Lockkeeper Equity, there must be some kind of mistake. All of the evidence showed that—
Believe me when I say there has been no mistake. Our detective is quite the thorough fellow, if a bit eccentric in some areas. The fact remains, he unearthed new evidence, revealing a new primary suspect.
Then who? It wasn't Coco. It wasn't Surrey. Who else?
Guard.
Yes, Lord Equity?
You have new orders. Carry them out to the full letter. Do not delay for a moment.
Of course, Lord Equity. What are your orders?
You are to arrest the pony suspected of conspiring to murder Overall Concept. Miss Rarity.
Understood.
Hold the... Are you serious? What the... What? Oh. What the f? No way they're pulling this bullcrap right now. What in the blue hell? No way she could have killed Overall Concept. At least intentionally, but... It wasn't Coco, it wasn't Sir... Oh, hello?
Get your hands off of me! What is the meaning of this? Me? Kill Overall Concept? Are you out of your mind?
It gotta be.
No! demand to see this so-called evidence that implicates Rarity!
Yeah, please.
Whatever for. You said it yourself. You know your friends. You should need nothing more in order to feel secure in your trust in them.
Bro.
Rarity! Don't worry. The Write Anything Agency, they'll defend you. They'll get you out of this.
They? Goodness me, Princess Twilight. Allocating the charge of your friend and her fate to a bunch of otherworldly strangers, when you yourself are quite capable?
I trust them, Equity. That is more than enough to justify this.
Oh? Then you humans, strangers to this world, tell me, do you trust Twilight and kind?
Yes.
Of course we...
Even if she were friends with a criminal.
Seeing as how Rarity hasn't committed any crimes? Yeah, we do.
Don't tell him, Trucy.
And yet Twilight has seen fit not to tell you why she summoned you to this world. You would trust her despite that glaring lack of trust on her end? But I doubt that is the only sign. I'm sure you have encountered some indication that our dear princess here has not been completely forthright. Am I correct?
Trust is a two-way street.
The discord I heard.
Those Cyclops.
No. You guys?
At any rate, I have delayed this far enough. Rarity will be booked in the Manhattan Detention Center in the coming days. I suggest you make arrangements, if you truly intend on defending her.
This case had pushed me to my absolute limit.
I'm at
it
my
tested
limit.
my beliefs and my resolve. I thought by the end of it, I'd have emerged.
Can we just have a
fully
happy
confident
ending
in
for
my
once?
abilities. But instead, I faced only more uncertainty than ever before, both because of my actions and because of their consequences. So there we were, Rarity taken away, and all of us hurt, angry, and confused, unsure of what to do next. We each went our separate ways, but unlike last time, it felt like something had changed between all of us. Something that couldn't be undone. Was it because of what Equity said? Or was it because of what I did? I found myself wishing Luna was there. I thought she might provide me with some measure of comfort, but she wasn't. And I wondered why that was. There were so many questions. Not enough time to consider what we could do and what we could have done. In the end, my actions, my decisions, were my own. I couldn't go back on them, no matter how much I wished I could.
But
I figured that, as one case began with another pony being put in peril, I could look back at this last one, at those who had been involved, at Scootaloo, Sweetie Belle, Turning Page, and see what I could do to help them going forward.
Again, I'm just every single one of you at the Elements of Justice team. You will be receiving my therapy bill within the next 24 hours. Screw me sideways, man. I was right, Al Javis was the bailiff. Oh, Jinkro was on this? Oh, dude, Jinkro was awesome. I'm at a loss of words right now, dude. I'm glad the case was resolved, but damn, it's a like what Athena said, or I forget if it was Athena or Twilight, but they said it was a hollow victory. Yeah, then after that, like, we're going back to the overall concept murder and saying Rarity was the one that killed him. And then, like, everyone is, like, at each other's throats. It's just... Wow. Oh, God in heaven. Is there, like, an after credit scene or something? Turnabout discharge. Whew. I'm speechless. I turn off the freaking screen recorder. I don't think I can, like, really say anything right now. I'm just at a loss of words. Like, I feel broken. I really feel broken. I really, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. I'd usually be going through my points about, like, what I liked about the episode, what I didn't like about the episodes, what something I noticed, like a or like a nitpick about a certain aspect. I'm just too... It's probably because it's, like, as of right now, it's, like, 1 o'clock in the morning. So I can't really, like, cohesively get my thoughts together, but... Wow. Wow. Screw me sideways, bro. Everyone's at each other's throats. Turning Page is going to military school, and Mom is going to go to jail. His mom's friends are going to go to jail. Rarity's being led away in silver bracelets. Twilight, I'm not sure, can really trust her friends right now. Fluttershy is, like, in the wind. We don't. So is Pinkie Pie. Pinkie Pie and Applejack haven't been really forthcoming with Twilight about a few things. Rarity and Rainbow Dash and are, like, at each other's throats. And Applejack is trying to keep those two level-headed at the same time, like, trying to dodge bullets from Twilight. The Cutie Mark Crusaders are a whole mess themselves. I'm broken. Dude. Last time I felt this broken is when I saw my boy Ali get shot in Squid Game. Like, that broke me. This broke me 5 times harder than that. Wow. Guys, I don't think I can really, like, give a full cohesive thought process right now as to what I think. I'm just gonna, all I say is, like, this was insane, and that's as much as I think I can really spit out right now. Again, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna wrap this up soon. But hey, everyone off the team did a great job. God, I'm a broken man right now, dude. I'm just going to do my usual outro, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just, like, I cannot... Wow. Alright, well, guys, thank you so much for watching my stupid face react to Elements of Justice. God damn. Well, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Be sure to support the Elements of Justice YouTube channel. Make sure to leave a link in the description down below to the channel and the original video. Support the original video, the creators. Take care of each other, love each other, and I'll see you next video.